Good morning, 819s. I'm lucky because the rain has already stopped. It does feel humid, super humid, and it almost feels like it's gonna rain again with the dark clouds like that. It might, but last night, or I guess this morning, early this morning, there was a really heavy downpour. And I think this downpour was the result of a typhoon. Typhoon number 5 had passed by. I think it was supposed to hit us directly, but it sort of veered off into the sea, and we caught the kind of the edge and the tail. And looking at the map for the rain this morning is really surprising, because I think we're in the lucky place. Right next to Machida, right to the left of Machida, which would be Sagamihara City, maybe even into Yamanashi a little bit. Heavy, heavy, heavy rain. Very localized. Today, I said in the last video yesterday, I want to talk about the other cat, Sora. So, I want to give a little bit more background too. When my wife was younger, I don't know exactly what age, but I'm going to guess early 20s. She had a cat named Shiro. Shiro was her precious animal. Shiro was very soft and cute and kind. And Shiro, when we moved into our house in Sagamiono, we weren't allowed to have any pets. So Shiro just lived with her family. In fact, Shiro always lived with her family, and Bambi would go to the family's house to visit and play with her. And when we got our place in Sagamiono, there was a little bit of a I don't know how to describe it exactly, but a mix-up or confusion over the ownership of pets, and my wife interpreted it one way, which may not have been the correct way, but anyways, there was no negative repercussion as a result. But we ended up bringing Shiro to our house, and I think my wife was so happy because they could sleep together every day. Shiro had a lot of freedom to run around the house. She was very happy with us. And then Shiro developed cancer. One day my wife was petting her and found a lump on her. She had surgery to have the lump removed, and then a few months later she was feeling bad again, and we took her to try to get all the treatment we could possibly get, and then she ended up passing. I believe she was either 16 or 17 years old when she passed, so she was a grandma. We did our best to keep her alive, but it hit Bambi so hard. It really, really crushed her and devastated her. I floated the idea of getting another pet. I do know that, pets are members of your family. They're not like a wallet or a smartphone. If your smartphone breaks, you buy another smartphone. There's not so much emotional connection to it. But if a cat passes away, getting another cat doesn't fix the pain of the first cat. I definitely understand that. But I floated the idea. She said, no, not now. And we basically had no plan to until we had bought a house. And my wife was working in department stores. She sold high-end fashion. And one day, one of her customers came in and said, hey, my cat in my house had kittens. So do you want some? My wife said yes, and she accepted 2 of them. They were domesticated, but they also lived outside most of the time. So we brought home 2 cats. We took them to the vet to be checked out. Everything was okay, and then they've been living with us ever since then. I believe that was a year to a year and a half before we got Candy. So when I said 2017, that might have been the year that we got Sora and Maru. My wife named them Sora and Maru. Sora likes, I think like a lot of cats, he liked climbing and jumping and flying. And Sora means sky in Japanese. And Maru has really short legs, short tail, and he eats a lot. So my wife kind of knew he would end up being chubby. I believe that's part of the reason why. So Maru means circular or round or something in Japanese. So Maru was kind of the fat one, and Sora was the kind of active, energetic one. And they lived at our house for the whole time in our apartment in Sagamiono, and then we moved him to the house. The move to the house for them was so rough. They really, really don't like being moved around. So moving them to the new house took them about, I don't know, a week to get used to the new place. They were so uncomfortable there. Everything was fine until earlier this year. Sora stopped eating, and my wife wasn't 100% sure why. So she took him to a vet. The vet that we took him to diagnosed it as being a problem with his liver. Liver or kidneys? Oh, Kanzo. I forgot. My coffee is right here. I haven't drank it yet. Ah, cute. So she took him to the vet, and the vet diagnosed the problem with Kanzo. I'll double check it. I believe what he said was a chondripidosis. It's a lipid problem in his internal organ. And the first doctor who had the first vet who had diagnosed this issue put him on some medicine and was watching his condition. He was actually hospitalized through the whole time. Sora's health continued to get worse and worse and worse with this doctor. And we went to, I'd say he was in the hospital for about 5 days. We went to the vet to check up on him, and he was looking really bad, really rough. And so we asked him, what should we do next? What's the next step? And the doctor said, well, look, we've got him on this medicine, and it's not really helping. He's not really improving. So we recommend just bringing him home, and he will almost certainly pass in a day or two. And my wife could not accept that. Not at all. And I sort of agree, because he was considerably worse after going to the vet than he was when we took him there. Maybe it would have played out that way anyways, but we also believe that the medicine that they were giving him was negatively impacting him. Unfortunately, the day we picked him up from the vet was a national holiday, so we had asked for a letter of recommendation to go to a university hospital or a bigger veterinary clinic. Typically in Japan, you can't go to those big hospitals or big clinics without a letter of recommendation. As a walk-in, it's extremely difficult. So the place where we wanted to go was closed because of the national holiday, and the vet had said 1 or 2 days and he'll probably pass. So my wife wanted immediate treatment. We found another place nearby. It was an emergency room connected to animal or a veterinary university. So very high level doctors, very skilled people working there. And they took him in. They did an initial diagnosis. They said, we believe that the first doctor's diagnosis was wrong. The problem is the body part that he had mentioned, but it's not the disease that he had mentioned. And then gave us very detailed, clear reasons why the first hospital was wrong, and the different signs and blood markers and stuff like that would be the signal of the disease that the first doctor had claimed and why it was wrong. And then the second vet, this big ER room, they really tried to save him. He was there for a while. Again, I'm not really good with dates and times. I work so much, everything sort of bleeds into each other. But I'd say he was there for probably a week. A little over a week, and yeah, he got slightly better, got a little worse, got slightly better, got worse. They actually had requested to take some blood from Maru, his brother, and inject it into him, kind of a transfusion. They thought that the healthy blood from his body might contain some beneficial... Wow, it's so windy right now. They thought that Maru's blood could contain some beneficial compounds, maybe bacteria or something like that, that could help Sora recover. After the transfusion, he got better. Really, he looked a little more active. He got really, really better, and then just collapsed. Like after that, he kind of peaked, and then that was it. He was sleeping most of the time, and he looked really rough. We went in for the final checkup, and the doctor was like, "Well, we can keep him alive, but he's really only alive because of the machines. If you disconnect the machine, he's just gonna go. He'll pass immediately. So what do you want to do? Do you want to try to keep him alive and try to wake him back up and get him back to life, or do you want to just let him go?" My opinion was, you got to let nature take its course. It's not the best for your heart, and it's not the best for our house. Of course, we want to do everything we can do to keep him alive, but being alive on a machine could be more suffering. If we disconnect the machine and he passes, then that was meant to be. And my wife reluctantly agreed, and he passed, and she was devastated. It wasn't as bad as when Shiro had passed away, but yeah, she definitely was in a long period of mourning. Of course, I was too. I was sad, but I don't know. These things don't hit me the same way that they do her. And now Maru is still in the house. We are slightly worried that whatever happened to Sora could happen to Maru. In fact, the day that he had the transfusion, when he had blood drawn to inject into Sora, we had requested, or the hospital had suggested actually, that we do kind of a full checkup on him too, to make sure that whatever affected Sora isn't going to be affecting him also. And they did that, and he seemed to be okay, which is why they went through with the transfusion. But yeah, we've got to watch Maru really carefully now. And Candy and Maru are the ones that always fight. It seems like Candy doesn't really care so much about Maru. Maru always wants to sort of attack Candy. My wife used to say, no, he loves him. He loves her. That's why he's doing that. And I was like, yeah. I'm not always the best at reading body language, especially of animals, but that does not look like love to me. Sora and Candy playing together, you could see some love in there. But Maru, no. I couldn't see it. Well, a little sad story today, but I did get a question asking, is Candy on any medication for her heart? No, Candy's not. We talked to the doctor about it, and he said you can try it, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference for most patients, for most cats. So it's your choice. And again, like Sora, we opted not to, just let nature take its course. And it's a little cheesy or a little corny, but I do say it sometimes. The love is the best medicine. If we just give Candy all of our affection, I think that's all she needs to stay alive. And I think so far it's been the right treatment, because it's been working. So yeah, and Tim, thank you. Yeah, Candy's sweet. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ride safe.